Ghosts, spirits, poltergeists, demons. Do they exist? Is there life after life? Are there unseen entities around us? Can they communicate? Do you believe? What happens in the shadows doesn't always stay in the shadows. Live from Northwest Georgia, covering the region and beyond, this is Georgia Paranormal Radio. And now, here's your host, Mike Watkins.
Good evening! Welcome to another edition of Georgia Paranormal Radio. This is your host, Mike Watkins. I appreciate everyone joining us for episode number 23. Yeah, 23. It's already climbing on up there, folks. We're coming up on number 25. And, wow, who would have thought, huh? Well, we have a good episode for you tonight. And we're going to do a little hot topic talk, I would say. Actually, it's kind of not hot topic talk. It's more of off the deep end talk, I think. And with me tonight is my guest co-hostess, Cindy Westbrooks. And she's got some interesting things to talk about. But well, I'll go ahead and introduce her and let her say hi. And then I'll go off on a tangent.
Okay, hi Mike. How are you today?
I am well. And hopefully you are too. And it's kind of different. We're recording this time. Normally we record Monday nights or Tuesday nights, and this time we're actually recording this Wednesday morning. And it's hard to say good evening in the morning. It's kind of weird. I'm going to answer a little bit of the feedback here. I've answered probably 10 already this week, and I appreciate everybody sending in their feedback. But I'm tired of typing, so I'm going to answer a couple of these on the air, and hopefully that'll help you out. The first one I've got is from a fella by the name of Miller Duncan, and he's down in Carrollton, Georgia, and really likes the show, and wanted us to add him to MySpace, so we did, and he just wants us to keep up the good work. He also sent a second question that was asking about the name of the song that was played at the end of episode 20. Well, that song, which we play at the end of each episode, is called The Hump, H-U-M-P, and it's by a fellow by the name of Devin Anderson. He's from out west somewhere, I think Seattle or California. He's on the Pacific coast, on the other side of the country, and there's a link to him on our radio show homepage, down at the very bottom where it's talking about credits for the show. And you can go to his page and get the rest of his songs. So he's got some good stuff. He's actually, I spoke to him before we started using this song, and he's really nice about it, and wished us the best of luck and was glad he could contribute the song to the show. But it's called The Hump by Devin Anderson. And there's a link on the radio show homepage at www.gapararadio.com. And hopefully that'll answer that for you, Millard. And I appreciate you listening, and hope you'll continue to do so. Let's see. Got a couple of guest requests. Gonna be setting those people up. Got some people from way out west. I think is the Shenandoah Valley out west? Shenandoah sounds like a western name. I'm not very geographically savvy. Actually, they're out of Richmond, Virginia. Oh dear.
Okay.
I did not know. Shenandoah sounds very western though, doesn't it? I mean, it's like the Ponderosa. I mean, so they're out of this group's out of Richmond, Virginia, and they're wanting to be on the show, so we'll talk to them, see if we can't accommodate that, and probably coming up in about 3 shows after this one, episode 26, we're going to have on a psychic medium. This lady's out of Canada, and it should be interesting. It should be very interesting. I have never in my life had a psychic reading, and pretty much what we're going to do, I think, is do a short interview session, 10, 15 minutes of talk, and then we're going to record her doing a live reading of me.
Good deal.
And I don't know what I think about that yet. But it should be interesting. There's a first time for everything, and if it, sends my immortal soul to the burning fires of purgatory, then that'll be okay too, I guess.
I don't think so.
And I'll have lots of company there. So
Yeah.
anyway, some more feedback here that I can go ahead and nail out of the way is from a young lady by the name of Colette Giro, I'm really bad with names. I apologize if I am butchering your name. And she is saying that she likes our show. It's a blessing to her. She's going through some personal problems, and it's helping her deal with that. I guess it's kind of a distraction for her. So that's good. I'm glad that we're able to help keep your mind off all your troubles, and even make you laugh out loud sometimes. We appreciate that. And, we do those EVP specials every month, Colette, so, get used to them. They're going to be around. It's something to look forward to every month. I enjoy them every month, too, because it's, it's good, tangible evidence that there's something going on. And in regards to your show suggestion, Mr. Zaffis is somebody I've wanted to have on for a while, and I will work doubly hard to get him on because you've asked, and I'll see if I cannot arrange something here in the next month or two, and maybe we can have a sit down with John Zaffis and discuss demons and demonology. It'd be interesting, and they say that John Zaffis is a heck of a nice guy, so maybe I can make a couple of phone calls and see if my Jeff Belanger, he knows him.
That'd be great.
See if I can get him to pull me a favor down and get him on here, because I know John's busy. He's always on TV doing something. I mean, anytime you turn on Ghost Hunters or anything on like the Discovery Channel, John Zaffis has been on that. He's an author, and I think they call him the Godfather of the Paranormal. It's weird. I mean, John's a busy guy, so I'll try to get him on for you, and it'll be just as much for me as it is for you, but hey, if it makes you feel better, I'll do it just for you. It's really for me, though. Anyway, so that's some feedback that we have been getting, and hey, keep sending it, folks. I appreciate you sending it in, and hey, we'll try to get to it as quick as we can. Some of it I reply to in the middle of the week, by actually sending you out a message, and some of it I'll just reply to it here on the show each week. Some of the better ones I'll reply to, and I'm not saying your email's bad. I'm just saying there's some that are more suitable for on air than email. So we'll do that. So just continue to send your comments, suggestions, questions, all that good stuff. Send it on up here, and we'll be happy to take care of whatever you're asking about. And well, that's the only tangent I have right now. Oh, actually, no, it's not. Saturday. This coming Saturday, the 17th. Do the math, Watkins. Do the math. Yeah, the 17th, 7 p.m. All those paranormal team members, Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation team members, I've got to get an email out, because everybody knows the meeting is this week. Nobody knows that it's at the Shoney's in Fort Oglethorpe. So, meeting, 7 o'clock, Shoney's, Fort Oglethorpe. Be there. I'll send you an email probably before you ever hear this, so just know that I was thinking of you. Okay. I'm forgetful. I've been busy. David's court was done last week. Lord love David. He had a stack of subpoenas that would probably constitute 4 or 5 large trees worth of paper.
Yeah.
And he got done. I didn't. I thought I was done, and then they had misdemeanor court this week.
Uh-huh.
So Lord love it, I've been in court the last 2 days, and I think I'm finally done for like a month. So, anyway, I've been busy. I apologize for not staying in touch with the team, but it has been a heck of a ride. I'm telling you. You can tell by the sound of my voice. I am tired, and hopefully we'll get things back on track.
Oh, those couple weeks in February and March, and then again in August and September are always that way.
If there is any time in my existence that I have ever truly wanted to not be alive, it was those times. I mean, I wouldn't, take my own life or anything, but if I could just push a button and cease to exist for that time, I would.
Click the remote, the universal remote.
Just
be
skip
great
it.
for those several days.
Yeah, just skip it all because my gosh, it is annoying. And hopefully my vacation will be approved here. And the week of Easter, I'm gonna try to take about 11 days off and get back to some ghost hunting.
All right.
That'll be good. Be nice to get outside and well, I'll talk about that in a little bit. We have a new segment at the end of the show, and we'll talk about that later.
Hey, the 7th is my birthday.
The 7th of April?
Yes.
I'll be sure to be out of town that day.
Hey.
Well, goodness me, we'll have to send you a bunch of emails wishing you a happy birthday on the 7th. Then all the listeners can do that.
Okay, let's just go ghost hunting.
Okay. I was talking to David about actually taking a car trip on the weekend days I was off during that time too. I don't know if he got with you about that or not, but
not yet.
No, going up towards Cherokee, up in the Nantahala, up in there.
Oh, that sounds fun.
You two, the kids, me, just piling in the old Watkins minivan and taking a day off. Maybe eat lunch by the Nantahala River, and if it's not storming, those April storms get kind of funny. But
yeah.
But anyway, let's not bore these people with. Gosh, we've already bored them for 12 minutes, it would seem. So let's get into your off the deep end talk there. I was about to say hot topic talk again, but for this episode, it's being renamed Weird Discussions in the Paranormal or something. I don't know. We'll think of something clever and edit it in later, maybe.
Okay.
There you go, Cindy. I'll sit back and I'll nod. Oh, yeah, the next several.
I just got to looking on the internet just to see what I could find, just looking up strange news.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd be surprised how many really odd things are going on out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff.
And some of the things I found, of course, I looked up some things specifically, and it just one thing led to another, and found one thing after another. And one of the things that I looked up, of course, the Bermuda Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that is interested in paranormal at all, at least has some kind of a passing interest in the Bermuda Triangle.
Absolutely. And
a lot of what I read, as skeptical as I am, this sounds bad for me to say this, but the skeptics had said, several had written, that the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle were no more than disappearances in any other part of the ocean.
I've heard people say that you could stretch that same triangle over any piece of Earth,
and it would be the same no matter where you were.
Right.
That's really not true.
Okay.
From what I looked up, from what I saw on the internet, it's not just the fact that ships and planes have disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
They do disappear in other places. They crash. Bodies are found. Pieces of wreckage are found.
Mm-hmm.
Evidence.
Sure.
That there was, at least did exist, a craft of some kind. Whether it be boat, plane, or whatever. There are so many that have disappeared in that area, which is not actually a triangle.
No.
It's roughly triangular in shape, but it's really stretches out much bigger than just a triangle.
Mm-hmm.
But in that area, there have been disappearances where there would be boats come back with absolutely no sign of a storm, no sign of a struggle. Everything was found, plates still sitting on tables, utensils beside them, glasses filled with drink, but nobody's aboard.
Just nobody.
No people. Nothing.
Weird.
And that's not the kind of thing that happens everywhere in the world.
No, not general. I mean, you don't normally see people driving down the road and then just, their car pull into their garage with nobody in it.
Exactly. And some of the tribes that live in some of the islands have told stories, legends over years and years and years of people going out fishing, finding their boats later with their fishing gear still laying there. Had it been a storm, a shark, anything, had they been attacked by somebody in another boat, the stuff would be either gone or destroyed or at least disheveled.
Exactly, yeah.
Not just left like they had just disappeared.
One of the most interesting things I'd ever noted about the Bermuda Triangle is a map that they were showing on one of these, sci-fi shows about it, or Discovery Channel shows about weird places. And this map was from, the British sailing days, I guess late 1600s, early 1700s. In that area, on their map, though, the way they described weird things in the water was here there be dragons.
Right.
And all over that map in that little area is here there be dragons. So even 400 years ago, there was weird stuff going on.
Exactly. And the legends from the tribes that live and have lived in that area go back hundreds of years.
Yeah.
But, now here's the thing. This is not just about the Bermuda Triangle. There are, let me say this, from what I understand, and this came from more than one different source. Of course, it all came from the internet, but a lot of it came from government websites too. In the Bermuda Triangle, in that area, the electromagnetic field is almost non-existent.
Really?
It is where you would expect, you would think, thinking about something like that, it would be much stronger.
Yeah, yeah.
The electromagnetic field is very, very weak in that area. Weaker than anywhere else on this planet.
Which could account for radios not working and
Exactly.
compasses not working.
No compass will point due north. Will point to magnetic north
So
in the Bermuda
it's
Triangle.
that weak there. Wow.
Yes, no compass. You cannot make a compass point to magnetic north in the Bermuda Triangle. No matter where you are in that area, it points somewhere other than magnetic north.
I thank God for GPS, huh?
Yeah, no doubt.
But if the electromagnetics are that off and it causes a disruption in the GPS signal, then you're pretty well.
This is true,
up
and
a
it
creek.
very well could.
Yeah.
Any electronic equipment just won't work as well.
Right. I mean, GPS is just a radio.
Exactly.
So, radio's not working, GPS might not work.
Probably not. But here's another interesting thing that I found. The Bermuda Triangle is not the only place on the planet where that's the case.
Really?
There is, off the coast of Japan, there is a, again, somewhat triangular shaped area where the same thing has happened.
Okay.
I wasn't able to find a whole lot of information about that. From what I understand, they just call it the Devil's Sea.
Well, that's wonderful.
And it's similar stories, similar legends. And here's another little interesting fact. Not too long ago, off the coast of Japan, was found a pyramid submerged very, very, very similar to the ancient Egyptian pyramids.
Well, I had read somewhere not too long ago that they had found an Egyptian-style pyramid, like in the Balkans or something, like up in, like, the Euro-Russian area. I forget, there's no
Really?
good way to describe it, but it was like, it wasn't in a European country that you hear about a lot, like Sweden or Germany or Hungary, but it was in that Balkan area, kind of between Europe and Russia.
Wow.
And
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
you have to wonder.
Because, again, the Inca Indians and the Aztecs
Mm-hmm.
built pyramids similar. And they have some very unusual legends and stories. And
Well, the Aztec calendar or Inca calendar are very similar, and I'm just waiting for December the 21st, 2012. Because I'll be pretty well out of debt by then, and it would just be my luck that the world would come to an end. Because their
Oh,
calendar
really?
stops.
just
Comes to a
stops.
dead stop and says that's the end of the cycle.
And speaking of strange disappearances, where did those folks go?
Mm.
They were a very advanced technologically for that time culture.
What were they doing drawing pictures of of aliens in spacesuits, too?
And spacecraft. Looked
And
like
spacecraft.
yeah.
And you got the Nazca lines down in that area, too, where, there's miles and miles of drawings etched into the earth. And you can only see it from like above 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And they are extremely accurately drawn, too. It's
Creatures that weren't even native to that region, too, though. I mean, there's like whale and, things hundreds of miles inland. And there are pictures of whales stretching 20 miles into the earth.
It's amazing.
It's weird. It's weird.
But then, they, that culture disappeared pretty much without a trace.
Rather abruptly. Yeah, they say that, their bloodline got so diluted that they just mixed into the normal population, I guess. But I
And
don't
just
know.
walked away and left everything that they had. They were incredibly advanced.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were just gone.
Yeah.
And then right here in this country, Death Valley.
Yeah, there's some weird cave things out there, too.
And there have been lots of unexplained disappearances in that area. Supposedly people walking along and somebody turns around hey, and they're gone. Never to be seen or heard from again.
I had read something somewhere, and I honestly, I've looked for it time and time again on the internet again, but I had read somewhere that out there towards Death Valley, there's a cave, and for a lack of a better word, it's some kind of temporal vortex that you can enter this cave, and you'll travel in time. It's some kind of dimensional rift, and people just vanish from it.
Wow.
And reappear 10, 20 years later coming out of that same cave.
Wow.
But I've never been able to find it again. And I would love to.
Me too. I'll have to look for it too.
Yeah, some kind of temporal anomaly that causes people to disappear.
Well, let's go. Let's go check it out.
I got bills to pay, though. I can't disappear for 20 years.
What difference would it make?
Well, I don't
What are they
want
going to do? They can't put you in jail.
I don't want to miss 2012, though. What if you was to travel in time and come back and the Earth didn't exist anymore? Temporal paradox. It's one of those temporal paradoxes, like if you time travel back and kill your grandfather, would you still be born? Well, then, no, you wouldn't, right?
So you couldn't travel back and kill
So
him.
you couldn't travel
So
back.
then you would be born.
Right, but then you would have already traveled back and killed him, so you wouldn't be born. But then you wouldn't be... anyway, so...
Yeah.
Temporal mechanics, God love them. Strange disappearances. Let's not get off on relativity and time travel.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, one of the most famous stories that everybody knows about is Roanoke Island.
Yeah, there was a whole English colony there, wasn't there?
Yes, an entire colony.
And the Indians said they didn't do it.
And they had no reason to believe that the Indians did do it.
Yeah, the Indians.
Right, because the Indians were friendly with them then, and they had come, settled, set up their colony, built huts and everything, made just a little settlement. And John White had to go back to England.
Mm-hmm.
He and another man, and I'm not sure about the name. I don't guess it matters. But anyway, he and another man went back to England to pick up supplies. When they got there, there was war.
Mm-hmm.
England was at war. So he couldn't come back for 3 years.
Okay.
3 years later, he comes back to Roanoke, and nothing's there. Nobody's there. Everything.
Empty buildings and
right. Stuff's sitting on the table, like they had been eating, and just got up and walked away. Absolutely no sign whatsoever of where they went or how. That was never explained.
Right, and they were never later found either. I mean, it's not like you
No.
know, they turned up in a town.
Right. Well,
There wasn't no towns.
No. They were the first.
Mm-hmm.
And well, not only were they not ever found, but no remains were ever found.
Right.
No clothing, no scraps of clothing, nothing was ever found. And yeah, this is this is an aspect of paranormal that people don't talk about a lot.
Right.
But personally, I find it extremely fascinating. It's just, the stories get changed. They go through the years. They get told and told and retold, and details change.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to wonder how much of it actually happened and how much of it just got added on.
Right.
From it just being passed down through the years. But for every legend, for every story that gets told, there was some basis of fact
Absolutely.
that got it started.
You know, there's a story in my family of my great grandfather, John Cowan, settling Villanelle, and you know, the story, I guess, has been filtered through the family so much and through history so much that he lost 2 fingers fighting a bear. Cut his own 2 fingers off with a butcher knife fighting a bear. And, you know, it was true he didn't have those 2 fingers, that he did cut them off with a butcher knife. But who's to know if there really was a bear? Now, I mean, what I'm saying is there's a basis in fact that he cut his 2 fingers off somehow. But I wasn't there. How can I say there was a bear or not? I don't know. Now, that's the story I'll continue to tell because it sounds very noble.
Doesn't it?
But, you know, great-great-great-grandpa Cowan may have just been clumsy. So, who knows? Well, what I'm going to do, Cindy, is we're approaching that half an hour mark already. And I'm going to go ahead and squeeze in a little word from our sponsors here. This episode of Georgia Paranormal Radio is, of course, brought to you by the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team. So just sit back and listen to a good word from our sponsors. Hey folks, Mike Watkins here. Many of you know me as the host of Georgia Paranormal Radio, but I'm also the founder and general manager of the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team, which is an anchoring sponsor of this program. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team was founded back in 2004 as a scientifically based research and documentation team. This investigative group has over 17 years of combined experience in dealing with the paranormal, and the unique perspectives and specialties that each member investigator contributes really gives you the full package. You can trust the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team to thoroughly, yet discreetly and confidentially, investigate and document any paranormal phenomenon that you may be experiencing. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team serves a large area of North Georgia, North Alabama, and even Southeast Tennessee. As always, their time and services are 100% free of charge. All they ask for is an invitation from you to let them investigate those cold spots, bumps in the night, or anything else paranormal. And contacting them couldn't be any easier either. Just go to www.nwgapit.com and check them out. The Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team, proudly bringing you Georgia Paranormal Radio and proudly investigating what you fear. Alright, folks, welcome back from that commercial break. I appreciate you making it through that, and appreciate you listening about our sponsor, the Northwest Georgia Paranormal Investigation Team. Hey, if you need their services, just let us know. We'll be happy to come out, and I may even be there with them. You never know. We are talking about kind of off-the-wall stuff tonight, and we normally do a little hot topic talk with Cindy, who's my guest co-hostess this week. And but this time she's doing some more off-the-wall stuff, and this week's topic is strange disappearances. Be careful you don't disappear, and keep listening here. So, Cindy, go back into this. We've got one now that's kind of closer to home here. This is just, it's over in Alabama.
Right, Selma, Alabama. That is awfully close to us.
Pre-Civil War.
Yeah, 1854.
1854, yeah. I
July,
remember it well. I remember
middle
it well.
of the summer. Yeah.
Oh, sometimes it feels like it. But
yeah, really. Middle of the summer. Man by the name of Orion Wilson.
Nice name.
Isn't that an interesting name?
It is.
I'm sorry, name. Williamson. I said Wilson. Williamson. Orion Williamson.
I like that, though.
Well, I can't talk. I do too, Orion. That's a cool name.
Yeah.
Anyway, he is starting out to do his morning chores, walking out across his field. His wife and son standing on the porch. When neighbors, neighbor man, a judge, and his daughter start coming up, and he turns around to walk back toward the house, and he just disappeared.
In front of all these people?
Yes, these people looking, 4 people.
Mm.
And they thought maybe he had fallen into a hole or something, so of course they run out to look, try to help him. He's just gone. No hole, no nothing. They couldn't find him. So they get a search party put together pretty quickly, evidently. And about 300 people walked arm's length apart and walked the property and never found a trace of this man. The only thing they found, and evidently from what it says, it was there for several months, if not years, a spot where the grass was brown. All the grass was dead, a circular area where he had been standing and the grass was dead.
Just vanished.
And he was just gone.
That's weird. That's weird. That's not too far from here either. That's, need to go over there and take a walk in that man's field.
See what we can find.
Maybe we can find him. Maybe whisk away
so.
to wherever he's at. There's some others that you've got there too, though, Cindy. Some other strange disappearances.
There are several. It surprised me how many I did find.
It surprised me how many you found. I mean, because normally you just don't hear of people dropping off the face of the earth.
Right, and it's like I was talking about earlier. It's not like these people that they were abducted and big struggle and tore everything up, or there was a storm and killed them, or there's no evidence that there was any kind of a struggle or any foul play in their disappearance. They were just gone.
Without a trace.
Wow. Right. Here, this one says the Cowden family. They were camping in the Rogue River National Forest campground in Oregon. And the father, David, was seen at a local store buying supplies. That was on a Sunday morning. They were supposed to be at a dinner with his parents on Sunday evening, and they never showed up. When authorities got to their camping area, everything was there. Nothing was disturbed. Stuff sitting out, just like they had just walked away. No struggle. The father, David's wallet was there. The mother's purse was there.
So it wasn't a robbery
No.
or anything.
Everything, the wallet still had money in it, had all their identification. Some pieces of her jewelry was there. What it said there was the camp scene was like something out of the Twilight Zone. And those people were never seen or heard from again.
Mm.
And this, like I said again, there was no sign of a struggle. When we see, we go out and we try to talk to people on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
We try to communicate with these entities. Some people even say aliens.
Sarah Eastet believes that some of these EVPs are from aliens.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and lots of people, I'm sure, believe that, we're trying to communicate with ghosts, aliens, whatever. But you have to wonder if these people haven't gone one step farther than just communication.
Wow. That's something to think about.
Yeah, really.
The thing of it is, though, is it a conscious decision? Or just...
makes you wonder. Here we go out.
Some kind of intergalactic lottery that they're,
and
they don't even know they're
right
playing.
Right place, right time.
And they just pop out of existence.
Exactly. We go out, we spend hours trying to get a word.
Mm-hmm.
Or a picture, a single image.
Mm-hmm.
And these folks, well, they know something. Whatever it is that they know it. They don't wonder. So I'm not sure if it's something that they wanted to know, or maybe if they wish they didn't. But I think that's very interesting, and it's just not the kind of thing. Once or twice you could explain it away.
Sure.
But over and over and over, and an entire family or an entire village is a lot harder to explain away.
Well, what parent is going to be camping with their family, and then all of a sudden, kids in tow, vanish, if they did it on purpose.
Walk away. Leave their vehicle.
Leave all their assets.
Everything they own, and just walk away
and just start over anew. That's not very logical.
No, not at all.
So you have to start looking at foul play. Well, there's no signs of foul play. Then you have to go to, there has to be some kind of above the normal explanation. Exactly. Or paranormal explanation. That's just wild.
It is very interesting, I think. There are a couple more here. This one, Owen Parfit. He was about 70 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He lived with his sister. This is in a little English town. It was June. This was 1768. And by the way, the Cowden family that disappeared was in 1974. So that's these 1800s, 1700s things. Records probably wouldn't be as accurate.
Right, things could be a little spotty there, yeah.
But 1974, you can expect that account to be a little more accurate.
Absolutely.
Because, the technology existed for this to be recorded electronically. There were TVs for things to be reported, and I'm sure TV and radio stories could be looked up, newspapers.
Right. And also, as far as the criminalistics of it, I mean, there are, at that time, there was an FBI, National Laboratory.
Exactly.
There were probably local crime labs, and they probably had a, forensics.
Right.
I mean, forensics wasn't as advanced then as it is now, but as far as a forensics point of view, I'm sure they probably, did molds of footprints around the area, and maybe called in tracking dogs, and
right,
and at least catalog this scene of this vanishing,
exactly,
to try to find out what happened to this family.
In the 17 and 1800s, and even in the very early 1900s,
mm-hmm.
law enforcement would have come out, and if they said it's black magic, they would have accepted black magic as the reason.
Well, they would probably burn the family at the stake for heresy or witchcraft.
But in 1974, that didn't happen.
No, it was a little more modern, yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. Of course, so this one was from 1768.
Mm-hmm.
This man, Owen Parfitt, was an invalid. He didn't walk at all. And his sister had rolled him out on the porch to get some air and some sun. And she had gone back upstairs cleaning house. And she heard a noise, came running back downstairs. Her brother's coat was laying in a wheelchair. He was gone. If somebody took him, they took him awfully quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Since he wasn't able to walk, he would have had to have been picked up and carried away. Left his coat, took the time to take his coat off of his body and leave it there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was never seen or heard from again.
Weird.
Okay, here's another one. In November 1930,
okay,
a fur trapper by the name of Joe LaBelle snowshoed into an Eskimo fishing village. This was right on the shore of a big lake in Canada. It was a thriving village, very large for the area at that time. He's going up. Evidently, he had made a lot of trips in there because he was a fur trader. He was a trapper. And he's walking into the village, and it is absolutely silent. And he thought that was odd because any other time there should have been kids playing. There were over 2,000 people that lived in this village. And they should have been people out on the lake and everything. He walked into the huts, walked into all the little storage areas. Nobody was there. There was a fire, the central fire, still flickering. On the fire was a pot of stew.
Mm-hmm.
It was burned. It had been there for a while, but it had just been walked off and left.
Weird.
Nobody was there. Of course, he called the authorities, and then there was telegraph, so he was able to send a telegraph. Hey, these folks are just gone.
Right.
They were never found. They sent, of course, a huge search party for them because it was over 2,000 people.
Right.
But they never found anything to indicate that the people had been abducted or any kind of a struggle. But the sleigh dogs, all of the sleigh dogs, everybody's dogs, that belonged to the Eskimos were found buried under 12 feet of snow at the edge of the camp. All the food and provisions and everything was left inside the huts. And here is the really odd thing. Eskimos are pretty much a lot like the Native American Indians.
Sure, sure.
Their graveyards are very sacred to them. Every single one of their ancestral graves had been dug up and emptied. All of them.
That's
the bodies
very
were
odd.
gone, isn't it?
Hmm. You know, one would think in that kind of climate that the decay rate would be different too for those dead bodies. I mean, I'm sure there were bones and things like that, but
Right.
it would take longer.
You would
know.
think much longer.
So somebody dug up the family bones.
Exactly.
That's weird. Now I could see, you know, one or two people, you know, playing hide and seek with somebody who was coming into town and
Right.
pretending like they vanished. But 2,000 people. I mean, you're talking about Tryon, Georgia. The whole town of Tryon, Georgia.
Right.
2,000 people vanishing off the face of the earth.
Well,
I mean,
supposedly the Mounties. This, of course, was in Canada.
Right.
Supposedly, the Canadian Mounties that came to investigate this reported that they saw a blue glow on the horizon.
Hmm.
It flickered and then disappeared.
Now one wonders if that couldn't have been the Aurora Borealis, though.
They said it was definitely not
Really?
the aurora. It was, number one, it was daylight.
Right.
And number two, it was in the wrong direction.
Wow.
So it says that the light pulsated and then faded.
So did aliens abduct them? Did
That's the burning question.
some kind of geomagnetic temporal anomaly swallow up all organic material? Well, it didn't take all organic material because the provisions were still there.
But this was middle of winter. It says that the ground was as hard as iron. It was frozen solid.
Mm-hmm.
And those graves were dug up. You know, in places like that, even now, in places like that, when they have somebody die, sometimes they have to wait to bury them.
Absolutely.
They cannot bury them if the ground is so hard they can't dig a grave.
I saw that in a documentary one time about people that live up in the polar regions. Sometimes will have to wait 5 or 6 months.
Right. The bodies will stay frozen
Right.
inside, in a freezer,
Mm.
until they can... Because the ground is not only hard, it's covered with several feet of snow and ice.
Absolutely. You can't possibly get to solid earth through
Right.
solid ice.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, right. You'd have to dig through all those feet
mm-hmm.
of ice and snow, then dig through rock hard ground because it's frozen solid.
Absolutely.
But these graves were dug up, and all the dead folks and over 2,000 live folks vanished without a trace.
The big question is, though, I mean, and that's the thing, is, I mean, how do you explain that? You cannot explain that. One could say, well, they were, you know, they decided just to resettle spontaneously. Well, wouldn't they have taken their sled dogs with them?
Exactly. Buried
Their
all of
provisions.
their sleigh dogs in the snow? That's
You
just
know,
weird.
You know, why didn't they take provisions? And then, you know,
But you at least got to have food and clothes.
I don't know that I'm much of a believer in alien life. I do think that it's preposterous to think that humanity is the smartest creatures in this universe.
Oh, really?
And number two, I think it's just, you know, I believe in creation. I believe, and not your typical Christian creation. I don't think the world is 6,000 years old. Science has proven that it's far greater than that. I mean, it's, you know, billions of years old. And,
Well, their opinions vary on that, too.
well, it does, but, you know, our sun is at least 4 billion years old. There's no way that it's just 6,000 years old. the chemical breakdown. It's improbable. The Earth, not the Earth, but the universe, the light coming, from the furthest reaches of the universe hitting us, they're measuring stars that are over 11 billion light years away. Now, light can only travel at 186,000 miles per second, right? Roughly. So, if something is 11 billion light years away, then it would take 11 billion years at the speed of light for that light to reach from that star to the Earth. There's no way you can falsify that.
Okay, now that part I don't have an argument for.
There's
true.
No way. The universe is too large. That star would have to be
at least 11 billion years old for the light to be here.
Right, because it takes 11 billion years at light speed for the light to reach us.
Right.
Unless light can somehow travel faster than light, but then it wouldn't be light speed, would it? Because light speed would be the new speed that the light's traveling at. So, anyway.
Unless you think about all these folds and things in space folding in on itself and...
Well, a black hole is going to distort things somewhat. That's proven. And there is a black hole at the center of our galaxy. That's been proven, too. And it's slowly munching away at our galaxy. I just don't know. We're talking about things outside of our galaxy. There's billions of galaxies out there.
Right.
I looked at a picture one time of the Hubble Space Telescope. And, to the naked eye, it looks like stars. Just a field of stars. And then they zoom in to this 1-inch square. And you see thousands of galaxies.
It's amazing.
And when I say galaxies, I mean galaxies with hundreds of thousands of stars in them.
Right. Well,
and they're so far away that they look just like one little light to us. But they're really, who knows?
Exactly.
So...
Yeah, and if there's...
It's preposterous to think in a universe so vast and so old that mankind is the only sentient being in the universe.
Exactly. I agree.
Now, whether these other sentient beings are using some kind of technology or whatever to get here and visit Earth and take people with them, I don't know. Who even knows? Who even cares? I personally...
I care.
I care because I don't want to be snatched away. I got responsibilities.
Well, now that would depend on what they were snatching for.
Well,
And who else they would... I wouldn't want them to snatch me without snatching my kids. And I wouldn't want them to snatch any of us without... if they were going to do something ugly.
Well, sure, but,
But, if they were going to come down and snatch me and cure my kidney disease...
Well, sure. But see, that's the problem with aliens, Cindy. You never know if you can trust them. Now, sure, you meet a nice one.
Oh, God.
You meet a nice
You
one
watch
every
too
now
much
and
TV.
again, like E.T. or Starman. But some of them just come down like those creeps in Independence Day.
Yeah.
You can't trust an alien.
Bunch of big lizard guys.
Yeah, one day it may look like something off Star Trek, and the next day it may look like something completely different. You can't trust those aliens. But yeah, it's in all seriousness,
It'd take a pretty big alien ship to kidnap 2,000 people and dig up all the dead guys too.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if they were actually dug up.
Yeah, it says they were dug up.
That's just weird because you would think that if somebody was technologically advanced enough to uproot 2,000 people, that they could just basically transport. Yeah, for lack of a better term, transport or beam up.
Then they would have been able to see that the graves were empty.
Right.
So, they were actually dug up for the whole graveyard, just dug up.
Which is just weird.
It is.
It's just weird.
It is weird. I think it's a government conspiracy.
That's Cindy at nwgavit.com. And for when those men in black come with their big guns and their flashy neuralizer things, she lives not here. She doesn't live here. So, anyway. No, yeah, it's...
Hey, I want a flashy thing. Where do I get my own flashy thing?
I want one of those neuralizer things, too. But, well, wow. Strange disappearance. You know, I know you're wanting to do a show about this later, but one of the strangest disappearances is obviously Atlantis.
Yes.
Nobody knows for sure where it was, but, according to ancient scholars, it definitely existed.
Oh, yeah.
And,
There are, I have looked, I've done a lot of research on that, and I do want to do a whole show on just the Atlantis thing. There are several different places where they have determined that could have been Atlantis.
I always thought the most logical place would be in Bermuda, which could explain the triangle.
And right at the top of the triangle is, I can't believe I forgot the name of it. The road where they found it.
Bimini.
Yes,
the Bimini Road.
Next to Bimini. But it's the road has another name. It's off the coast of Bimini.
But it's an underwater roadway.
Right, and it looks like paving stones.
Right, it's like an ancient Roman, the way Rome would have paved their roads with pavers.
Which is another thing, which we will get into when we do. Maybe we'll do that next time.
We could do that. One thing I want to bring up is Hitler was rumored to believe that the white race came from Atlantis, and that was part of his hatred for other races. He believed that they were the descendants of the Atlanteans, and that they were superior because of their pure genetic gene pool and technological superiority. I've heard that before. I've read that somewhere.
I read that he did believe in the theory of Atlantis, and that he thought he was descended
Right.
from an Atlantean.
Yeah. Well,
of course, he was insane. So
Hitler had issues, and he would need a whole team of psychiatrists just thinking about him all the time,
really?
Just to try to get him right. But fortunately, I wasn't born in that era.
Yeah, no doubt.
Thank goodness. World wars are awful. I mean, it looks like we may be coming up on one pretty soon, but you never know.
Maybe if we can just make it to December 21st, 2012.
Yeah. Or when Hillary wins the election.
I'm not even going to go there.
Our first female president. I think she's going to be pretty good. I used to not be a Democrat, but I think it'd be interesting.
Well, from what I've read, if we're going to do the political thing, from what I've read, a lot of Republicans plan to vote Democratic in the primary and vote for her to get her elected as the Democratic candidate.
And then go...
Because they really believe that she will run her mouth bad enough to lose the vote for the Democrats, lose the election for the Democrats.
Either her or that Obama fella. I kind of like him. He's got some good ideas.
I haven't heard a lot from him, but he does seem like a genuinely good guy.
He does. He seems sincere. And, of course,
Exactly.
the Republicans are talking about putting up Rudy Giuliani, I've heard.
I've heard that.
That would be a strong person to run against. I mean, Giuliani's loved by everybody because he really took command during 9/11.
He did. He handled that very well.
I have the utmost respect for Rudy Giuliani.
So do I. He handled that as well as anybody could have.
Right.
Bad situation, no good way to go about it.
Yeah.
But he did as well as anybody could.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, we're getting off topic again. We're getting as bad as David and I now. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the common denominator in getting off topic.
Oh, but isn't that what people say they like to hear?
They like to
hear
hear
us talk.
and that's actually a part of the new segment that I was been planning on doing. It's kind of a news from Lafayette thing, just to talk about life and in general. And
we had some news in
doing
Somerville last week. Some bad news. Suicide.
We can't talk about that.
No, I know.
Now, everybody knows that I have this strong affection for a program called the Prairie Home Companion, hosted by Garrison Keeler. And each week he does a monologue called The News from Lake Wobegon. It's a wonderful thing. And what it is Lake Wobegon's his fictional hometown. And he tells you what's going on in the lives of these fictional town people, you know. And but he teaches little life lessons with it too. You know, there's always a moral to the story, and somebody learns something. And it always ends about that's the news from Lake Wobegon, where all the women are strong, all the men are good looking, and all the children are above average. You know,
Wow.
it's the perfect hometown. But I've thought about doing a segment about the news from Lafayette, and kind of using it as my soapbox to rant a little bit. And
Teach us something. What are you going to teach us?
I don't know about teaching moral lessons. There's a lot I could learn myself. But, I don't know. You know, this
Couldn't
week
we all?
it really has been a quiet week though here in Lafayette. It's been real quiet, and I had to take a drug test.
Did you?
I'm not a big fan of taking the drug test. I'll tell you why. I passed it, by the way. Studied for hours.
Okay.
I did. There's no nice way to say it, but I'm pee shy. I don't like using the restroom in public. I have a problem with public restrooms. Always have. And when I used to work for the big box retailer that I worked for many, many years, every time you got a promotion or a transfer or anything like that, or just whenever they felt froggy, you would take a drug test. The only problem with that is they had supervised drug tests, which means you went into a room, and usually this 80-year-old woman would come in with you and watch you fill the cup. You know what kind of problems that creates for someone who doesn't like using the restroom in public anyway, to have somebody staring at them use the restroom in public? So it took me about 2 hours to take my drug test yesterday.
Can you at least turn your back to them?
Well, not with it's illegal now for them to watch you. I mean, they can be in the same room, but they cannot stare at your production facilities.
Good grief.
But yeah, the thoughts of that make me not want to use the restroom for hours at a time. I could drink a gallon of water and hold it in for 6 hours if I knew somebody was going to be in the restroom when I went in there.
Wow.
It's just bad. But passed my drug test, and
Well, I would hope so.
yeah. It kind of made me mad though, because I guess it really was oregano I was smoking. I thought it was something else.
Oh well.
Yeah. The weather here in Lafayette's been kind of strange. As per normal rules and regulations here, we have skipped a season.
Yeah.
We do that often. We go from winter to summer directly, with no stops in between. 2 weeks ago it was in the 30s and the 40s for a high. Yesterday it was 82 degrees.
Yep.
It was absolutely 82 degrees.
Beautiful weather.
Beautiful weather, but you might as well just suck in the pollen directly like cocaine.
Yeah.
Because I've already got a little rasp in my chest, and I haven't had a chest cold or a chest anything like that in years, and I've already got this little rasp in my chest now, just because when I left yesterday morning for work about 6:30, it was 36 degrees. It was really 36 degrees. And my neighbor can attest to that. He was out getting the paper, and we spoke in our normal hushed tones that we do every morning when we see each other, whenever I'm leaving and he's getting up to get the paper, because you don't want to wake up the rest of the neighborhood, obviously. So you speak in your hushed tone and a little small talk, and yeah, it was 36 degrees. Fast forward 9 hours, and it's 82 degrees.
Yeah, you walk out the door and you need a coat. You come home and you need to have shorts and short sleeves.
So the moral of this week's monologue, or my comments on what's going on around Lafayette, is to whomever has their finger on the thermostat, I would love to have a little bit of springtime instead of just skipping seasons arbitrarily. Think of the rest of us, would you?
Yeah, really.
And that's it. That's all that's going on in Lafayette this week.
I have some news.
Go ahead with it.
I am probably fixing. This is Georgia, we fixing it. Everything's broken, we fixing. I'm probably fixing to start home dialysis.
They do that at home?
Yep. It is a brand new program.
Well, obviously, I've never heard of it.
The machine is about the size of a 19-inch television.
Okay.
I will have all of my stuff delivered to the house. The machine, the bloodlines, the needles, everything, the dialyzers, saline, all the stuff that I need. And I will set up, be able to be in my own bed and do dialysis at home. David will stick me. Yeah, that was kind of my reaction to begin with, too. And if we get the opportunity to go to Savannah or Waverly or wherever else we can go, I can just pack my little machine right up, pack my little supplies right up, and go and spend the night.
Wow. Well, that's very good, though. That's very good for you. That's
great news.
Man. I did not know you could do that at home, though.
It's very few years old, and there are 5 people in the Chattanooga area right now that are doing it. There are like 35 or 40 in the Atlanta area. But, it takes a 4 to 6 week training course. And we have to go 5 days a week for 4 to 6 weeks, 3 hours each day.
Wow.
To train. But once we get past that training course, so my son, Dakota, is fixed to have to start dialysis too. He's going to go with us, and he's going to train to use the machine and help me out so that when it is time for him to start, which will be in the next few weeks, we're pretty sure, he'll be ready to go with home dialysis.
Wow.
And supposedly, it cuts down the need for a lot of the medications because you do it 2.5 hours, 6 days a week instead of 4 hours, 3 days a week like I've been doing.
So it's a more consistent thing.
Exactly. It doesn't allow the toxins to build up, helps your blood pressure. I'll cut out a lot of medications for a lot of people, makes them feel better. I'll be able to work, everything.
Wow.
If it works out well for me.
I hope it does. I hope it does.
Everybody say a prayer. I don't care if I can say pray on the TV, viewers.
No, not on TV, but you can say just about whatever you want.
If I could say pray on the radio.
Yeah.
Listeners,
if you believe
not
in that,
viewers.
If you believe in that, then even if you don't, send some good wishes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Some warm thoughts. She can use them. And that's good news, though.
After 10 years of being tied to that clinic, it would be a great blessing.
Indeed.
To have a little bit more freedom. I'd still be tied to the machine, but actually, the machine would be tied to me more instead of me being tied to the machine.
Well, that's good.
It would
that's very good.
Offer a lot of more freedom.
That's very good. I hope it works, too. I hope it does. Everybody just keep her in your thoughts and prayers. That's good. Hope it works out well. And that's, I guess, all the news we have, right?
That's all the news I have.
Quiet week. Apologize for going off on a tangent. If you don't like hearing about what's going on in life around us, then don't listen. Yeah, you can tell me to quit, but I may not. I rather like it. It's people. Some of the comments I get are that I seem like a very private person, which I don't know where folks are getting that because I tell things on here that I've never told anybody. But so I'm going to open up a little bit and start telling people what's going on in life, and you'll know that I'm not just some personality who does this once a week and then has no life other than that, because there's a lot that goes on in our lives every week.
Oh, absolutely.
And you are friends of this show, so you deserve to know what's going on in our lives. And, hey, feel free to let us know what's going on in yours.
Yeah, send us an email.
Sure. I'm a good listener. So, but I just interrupted Cindy. So
that's okay.
I wasn't listening.
That's all right. Cindy at nwgapit.com
.com
or Mike at nwgap.com or David at nwgapit.com. Send us an email.
.com, .org, .gov, whatever it is. It's .com.
It's .com.
Yeah. Well, all right, folks. We hope you've enjoyed the program here, the off the topic call, or off the deep end talk there, I should say. And I apologize for being a little lethargic and being out of it, but man, I'm tired. I am tired, and I hope you folks will stay tuned and come back with us next week. Next week we're going to have a good show. Got a really good show, in the words of Ed Sullivan, for you. Got a really good chew for you tonight. But going to have probably a local, well, a not so local paranormal group. I think we're going to venture out into to another area and get a paranormal group, maybe from up Virginia way, like I said in the feedback. Try to get them on next week. If not, we'll do something extra special. And then the week after that, episode number 25 is going to be our EVP special for the month of March. Yeah, there's only 2 weeks left in March.
Wow.
I mean, 2007 just started and it's already a quarter gone. Can you believe that?
Oh man, it is.
It's a quarter gone.
Oh, it's going to be Christmas again.
Yeah.
I can't take this.
It's crazy. Anyway, folks, hope you've enjoyed thinking about some of these strange disappearances. If you know of some others, let us know. Your feedback's always welcome. And, hey, if you go out and do any investigating, take an extra couple of seconds and do things right. Use a little common sense. And be careful out there. Because you'll appreciate making it home. Your family and friends will appreciate you making it home. And we'll appreciate you making it home to listen to next week's episode. Good night, everybody.
Underground.